going, everybody? Welcome back to a new and exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. And oh boy, do we have so much to talk about. We got Love is Blind episodes 5 through 7. We got Golden Bachelor. We got Bachelor in Paradise. And most importantly, we got Taylor Swift watching the Jeff's Cheats game. That love affair continues. And we have the one and only Amy Kaufman returns to the Viall Files, friend of show from the LA Times herself. Welcome back, Amy. Glad to have you.
Yay. Thank you.
It's so good to be with you. How you been?
Good. I haven't seen you since you announced you're having a baby.
Yeah, we felt our baby kick for the first time yesterday. Very exciting.
What were you doing?
We were just sitting on the couch watching
Love is Blind or football. Which one?
One of them.
What is it? I always ask my female, like, what does it feel like?
It felt literally exactly how you could imagine what it feels like. Literally, there's like an alien inside of you, and like you are getting like punched from the inside out. It's really weird.
Did you like it, or were you like, whoa?
I was like, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you felt it too?
Yeah.
For you, it's probably awesome. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you're not
it's
getting
like the
punched
first.
from
It's
the
like
inside.
going to the doctors and seeing the ultrasounds. We saw the 3D, 4D image of her last week, so that was very cool. So like anything that makes it feel more real is very cool for me, because other than that, like what makes it real for me is obviously seeing Natalie's belly grow, and anything I can do to help her out is an ounce of realism in the pregnancy. But like seeing her, the baby, and like actually feeling her kick, that's wild.
I was laying down and had like my hand kind of just resting on my stomach, like watching football, and I felt it. And I was like, I just felt her, and he puts his hand on it, and she kicked 2 more times. He's like, "Can you feel that?" And I was like, "Of course I can. It's in my
Well, I don't know if it was like the baby or like
only he can.
You're feeling it through me.
Well, I didn't know if it was like her or maybe something else. It's not like a huge,
Her feet are so tiny.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. The rest of the night, he's like, "Have you felt her? Anything else?"
It's like when you see a shooting star and then you get really greedy and you're just like, I gotta look at this guy all night.
I gotta see another
I'm
one.
always
Yeah,
like
that's
touching
so
her stomach because I want to like feel every time and I feel jealous that Natalie, like when I'm not with Natalie, I'm not feeling her stomach. She could kick and I won't be there.
You're like FOMO.
Yeah, totally.
We were at dinner
I'm
last
picking
night
FOMO.
across from each other, and I was like, "Oh, she just kicked," and he was like, "No, I'm so jealous."
oh my.
I couldn't.
You can start kicking him.
Is Nick, are you like the person who's like, I'm gay? Like I heard you talk in one of your episodes about like, we're pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're like, I'm gaining sympathy weight. Like you're that dude.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah.
100% Nick is, yes.
I wanna.
He eats
I wanna
so
be a
many
part of it.
sweets, and he's like, "We're pregnant. We're just so hungry."
We made the best chocolate chip cookies over this weekend.
Yeah,
it
we
was incredible.
No, it was bizarre because Nick's mother makes the
Did
best.
we have a craving?
It was Nick's
I had a
craving.
craving. I had a craving.
Yeah, our craving.
Yeah, we did.
Nick's mother makes the best cookies ever. She's an amazing cook, baker, everything. And so
It was really an embarrassing
like,
moment for me.
very embarrassing for Nick. He's like, his birthday was last week. So I bought him chocolate chips as like, I'll make you some cookies,
Okay.
I didn't end up making them because Jojo Siwa sent over a box of like 12 cookies from Crumble, which they're massive. So he sees the chocolate chips in the pantry. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you were going to make me cookies?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I really want those. Like, can we do it?" And I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Okay, I'm going to go get the mixer." No, I don't use the mixer. Like, I'll just hand mix it. Like, my mom uses the mixer.
I had
Oh my
that was
god.
super embarrassing. And I like was so self-aware I was doing it, but one of those like, but my mom does it this way.
I was like, "I'm not your mom. Do you want my cookies or your mom's
And I felt
cookies?"
very Ray Romano on Everyone Loves Raymond, where he's just like obsessed with how his mom cooks. I was very aware of how
The
embarrassing.
inner child.
It was very inner
coming to the
child was
forefront.
coming out. But anyways, Natalie stood her ground.
And then they were amazing.
Yeah.
We made them the way she wanted
He did
to.
make me call his mother to confirm the
Is this
ingredients.
okay?
and make sure everything
She
was
did it.
okay.
them herself?
Yeah.
Maria has to sign off at every phase.
They're as good, if not better, than any cookie I've ever had from my mom.
Wow.
They were that good.
That's huge.
They were
You don't have to
incredible.
say what it is, but does she have a secret ingredient?
I'm happy to share.
It's
On
really
the back
simple.
of the
Toll
chocolate
House.
chips, the Toll House, it
Follow that
says
recipe.
follow that, but then it also says at the end, like, if you don't use nuts, then use 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour more.
We
And
used
so
one
we
and a
used
half.
like 1.5, and then Nick wanted a little extra vanilla extract.
Mm,
Little extra
vanilla.
A little extra vanilla.
Yum.
That's it.
Anytime you're baking pancake, if they ask for vanilla, always add more than they
I agree.
ask for. but they're great cookies.
That's
It
amazing.
was so good. All right, so we're gonna go Love Is Blind. We're gonna go Golden Bachelor. Then we're gonna bring it home with Bachelor in Paradise. Did you cry on Golden Bachelor?
Oh yeah, I teared up.
So
You didn't?
Nick was sobbing.
Sobbed.
Oh, I thought you were like, I'm emotionless.
No, well, it was
Sobbing.
sobbing.
Wait, I have a question for you guys. Okay, so everyone under, well, how old are you now?
43.
Yes, okay. But the younger generation, I feel like, is so moved by the show. Everyone loves it. And then like people who are my parents' age, like 65 and over, I've heard a lot of specifically women being like, oh, this is so sad. Like these women are so desperate. And I'm like, oh, what?
Interesting.
And there was a column in the LA Times by this columnist we have, Steve Lopez, who writes about like retirement and being that age. And writes about him and his wife watching it. And that was kind of their reaction, was like they didn't find it sweet. And I was like, that's so interesting. Is there something like generationally where they don't, like, we're just used to growing up and seeing people on reality TV.
I mean, this person you said who wrote that piece, married.
Yeah.
And to me, it sounds like it is more like the benefit of still having a partner later in life.
Right.
And they're speaking from a place of, I guess, relationship privilege, if you want to call it that, and like judgmental, be like, well, how could these people not like figure out like.
Well, my mom, we wanted my mom to go on it, but they said she was too young. 65, which I feel like she's definitely not.
No, she's not too young, but this is way back when, this was years ago when they first pitched it, and then we just kind of forgot about it.
And then now that it's coming out, I talked to my mom about it again and was like, this is the show. And she was like, I'm just not really interested in like fighting over a man with a bunch of women. And I was like, interesting. Okay.
I mean, it's like that first time you watch The Bachelor, which is, it's hard to go back to that mindset, but when you watch it and you're like, why would anyone do this? This is like embarrassing. And we've just like watched it so much. It's like, yeah, of course, this is what you do on the franchise. But like for maybe that generation coming into it, it's just like, this is so sad. They're just going to take whoever is given to them. Like, I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
I definitely can see that though. Yeah.
I also think your point is really interesting to think about how this is a generation where, you know, apart from like some game shows, like, you know, like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, where they have a real like age span. And when it comes to kind of this more like social romantic reality TV shows, like these people are probably of a generation where like nobody from their generation has been on these kinds of shows. Cause like, let's say they came to be about 20 years ago, like even then they would still be in their like, you know, 40s or 50s. And so it's so fascinating to think about like if you had always conceived of reality TV as something like, you know, those crazy young people do who don't have as good judgment. And now all of a sudden it's your peers. Like I can imagine that would be kind of a shock to the system and you'd have a big reaction about it.
You know, older women a lot of times will like wear shorter hair, and she's like, "Oh my god, their hair can't be real. Like that's extensions, or like you know, like no one has a lot of them don't have natural hair. Yeah.
But good, you know, that part's great. That's the classic how people watch these shows to not only critique on the relationships, but pick apart the people on it and kind of see themselves through the lens of. I don't know. I think it's great, but more on Golden Bachelor later in the episode. Before we get to Love Is Blind, Taylor Swift is still in a relationship with Travis Kelce, and we couldn't be happier. So SNL over the weekend decided to re-air Travis Kelce's episode of SNL, and that reminded me of just why I think these two could be perfect together. I still think it might also be a bit of a PR stunt, only because Taylor Swift's at the Jets game, and then it's all this big hoopla, her music. Cut to commercial, Taylor Swift's movie. You can buy tickets now. It's like, if this wasn't on purpose, what?
The Voice commercial with Carson Daly making everything about football in her songs.
Yeah. If it is a PR stunt, honestly.
Well executed.
I mean, like, this is beyond incredible. I don't know what's more impressive. Like, love or.
But he was so good on SNL. That was when I truly was like, oh my God, aloha. Okay, like, when, this is embarrassing, but. So
I saw this on your Instagram story.
I cover, like, the coolest, I'm not cool, but like every year I get to go to the Vanity Fair Oscars party, and like there's really strict rules for that. It used to be you could only go for, if you were a journalist, like for 1 hour, and they would like come find you, the PR person, to like check in and like leave. Now they let you go for the whole time, but you're not supposed to like approach celebrities. Like you can't like interview them normally. You're just supposed to observe, which I think is kind of worse, by the way. Like just to like spy and write what they're saying.
Take
like
notes.
No, I'm just watching you.
Exactly.
Sorry, we can't talk.
It's so weird. I like saw Travis Kelce and I was like, oh my God. I was like, you were so funny on SNL. And I was like, okay, athletes, sometimes I'm like, you really surprised me. And he was like, oh, thank you. He was like, so obviously so hot and really nice. And I was like, I feel like I got in early with the Travis obsession because I was like,
But being reminded that he even did SNL, to me, it was like, that's why these two are perfect. Hear me out. It's because, like, most people on SNL who host it, for the most part, are actors, right? They're usually promoting a TV show or movie that they're doing. Every once in a while, you get an athlete or a musical performer.
Or like occasionally a politician.
Sure.
When they're feeling frisky.
That kind of supersedes their career. They've outgrown like their space, and they're so big that they are getting to host SNL, right? Like most musical artists are just musical guests on SNL, but every once in a while you have a Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift. So, but the fact that Travis Kelce, just being a tight end football player, is so popular and so good and so talented that he can host his own SNL episode. Like, to me, that like these two people, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, it can be like, yeah, like they can talk about their SNL episode that they've hosted, and the fact that like they are both individually kind of out, are so talented in their own space, just kind of speaks to how like compatible they are and how easy it is for them to relate to each other just because they both hosted SNL.
The whole relationship's just
So
based on
Lauren Michaels,
All
we
they
can thank
talk
Lauren.
about is how they hosted SNL.
No, I just think it just speaks to like why they work.
No, but
He's not just some football player. He's
like I saw, this is so embarrassing, on Demois, there was like I don't know if it was a podcast clip or something, but they were like, his position in football helps explain why they're compatible because he's a tight end, so he can
block,
interact. Yes, he's willing to block for the star when necessary, but he's also like willing to
catch.
Fine, but like run to the end zone when he needs to like be the star or whatever. So maybe that's right. I don't know.
He's multi-talented.
But he can be the center of attention, or he can like be around a bigger entity than him.
True. Yeah.
Do you have a Travis obsession or no?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely on their podcast, TikTok.
Oh, I was like, you listen to New Heights?
No, every TikTok that I scroll is about the Kelceys, their podcast. This morning, I learned that Travis got kicked off of his college football team.
For what?
For testing for marijuana.
I love it.
And his coach was like, sorry, but like you're cut, you're done. Can't have you on the team. That's like not acceptable. And he went and moved in with Jason. They put their queen beds next to each other in a one room, like lived together. And Jason was like, you're going to be on the right track. Like, you cannot do this. You can't fuck up. He went and talked to that coach. And the coach was like, all right, you have to maintain a 3.0 GPA. You cannot miss a single class. You'll be drug tested every month. Like,
figured his shit out.
He figured his shit out.
Wait, the pushing the beds together, was that?
No, he said he had a room big enough to fit 2 queen beds. So I think maybe there was a little walkway in between.
Okay.
But basically,
there's 2
snuggling.
giant men, 2 6'5", 250-pound men.
No twin XLs for them.
Yeah.
No,
I've seen so many hilarious tweets over the last week about them. Like, it was like, just let her have someone with like slight brain damage who she can climb like a tree. That's all she wants.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then you got his ex, who's really trying to milk this.
Did y'all see that interview with Insider?
She called him a narcissist.
Oh,
No. She said, this has nothing to do with Taylor. It's cute, though. I had him first.
She did not.
No, she
Yes,
did.
she
You haven't
did.
seen this?
Yes.
No, I don't give time to the exes.
We only do because she lost all credibility by saying how much she doesn't care, but kept trying to throw Taylor under the bus. And then she just flippantly like called Travis a narcissist. It's like, all right, just join the buzzword community. We truly are at a time where we've just replaced words. You know, narcissist and gaslighter used to be like definitions to describe like certain types
Asshole.
of people. And now it's just like jerk and asshole. We just don't call people jerks and assholes. They're just narcissists now.
That's
like,
true.
You know, she's like, oh, look, he's just a narcissist. Like, okay, he stopped liking you.
The
She
interviewer was
said Swifties are aggressive, very negative, very hypocritical.
Well,
it's really crazy to me
they're
that someone I
psycho.
think is positive and really nice is such a negative and angry fan base.
well, because they're
As if
all
she's in
telling,
charge
well,
of everyone.
they're all
angry
telling
about
this.
this.
They're all, she was like, I'm getting a ton of death threats from Swifties, which I believe, of course, you know, it's kind of like Selena
Not
Gomez
okay,
fans.
But like, stop
and-
listening to the 13-year-old girls who are DMing you and telling you should die. Because that's usually what it is.
Yeah, and
Well, we
like,
also don't know.
And are you
Be
going to
anyone.
judge a fan base based on like the fringe extreme? Because
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of fan base, and like granted, I think it seems like there's some where there's a little bit more of that. And I know there's big discussion, especially with like Selena and Hailey Bieber, like going back and forth about how much are you responsible for your fans' actions, like especially if they're cyberbullying. But I think the fact of the matter is that a lot of people who are like at a certain level of success do have fans who are going to send unhinged death threats
it's
in a
not
way
o-
that's so
It's
inappropriate.
not okay, but it was her delivery is if she kind of was subtly blaming Taylor for it.
Right,
And it was just like-
exactly.
Her whole interview was being like, I love Taylor, but she fucking sucks. It was basically the tone of the interview.
And it came off of her liking that Instagram post saying that Taylor Swift's a 5. Like,
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
okay, feminist, like anti-feminist queen. What are you doing? That's so icky.
I'm just all in on it. Like I last night, first of all, like It's Made Sundays so much better.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't have to just tolerate, like I'm just be on my phone while my boyfriend's watching football. Like I literally was invested. I was like 5:20, babe. That's when it's on. And then like during it, I was like, look up when Taylor's international tour starts. And so I guess she's on the road from like the early November, but just for a month. And then it starts again in March. So I was like, okay, so they're only missing like 3 weeks. So like they could still be dating because that's not like so long to be apart, right? Because
They can make it work.
yes,
Doesn't
yes,
like a
thank
bit of
God.
it overlap with his bye week too? Like he could go out to like the UK or Paris and they could have a
Well,
little.
yeah, that's right.
Or
His
yeah, like
bye week,
Argentina
Yeah.
or
Ooh.
something.
his bye
Yes.
week is when she plays in Argentina.
Wow, guys, we
And-
are
and-
sad.
And NFLers do get out of town for their bye week. Also, it's one of my favorite things too, because as being a huge football fan and pop culture fan, I am getting a real big kick out of the non-pop culture football fan guys who are just losing their mind when they're like, I just want to watch football to watch football, and I don't want to hear about Taylor Swift, and they're just absolutely losing their minds over it. It's fucking
It is
hilarious.
like, does it seem like a little much like how much the NFL is leaning in?
Yeah,
it's
I would.
fun.
I
don't-
would
what-
say it's a little
like
much.
the sales are up, their viewership is up. Like why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
be
why
leaning
wouldn't they?
into
Like,
it?
what an amazing opportunity to increase your women audience. Like,
Yeah,
of course they should overdo it. I mean,
Mm.
you know, what do you expect them to do? You know, and now you got Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Blake Lively all coming, and it's just like a star-studded.
Hugh
Anthony.
Jackman is not someone I expected to be part of that friend group. That was
Well,
shocking
that's like
to
a
me.
Ryan Reynolds.
That's a
ad.
Ryan-
They're
yeah,
besties.
that's like their
Best day
besties.
of Sean Levy's life.
And Hugh's like going through a divorce right now.
Post-divorce,
You know,
right,
and he needs
yeah.
to get out, make some friends. You know,
She loves to protect the ones
Yes.
post-divorce
Yeah.
or going through the divorce.
Sophie was there.
Sophie
Yeah.
was there.
She's like, you know, like animal nurseries where they take like animals from the wilderness that get injured and like nurse them back to health and then like set
Taylor.
them free. I feel like that's like Taylor Swift with broken hearts. Like she really wants to like nurture people until they are ready to be free again.
Yeah, it's such a fun thing. I hope it lasts forever, and it makes sense. It makes.
It makes sense, but like it doesn't make sense.
I just mean like she's has such a long history of dating musicians and actors, where I just feel like that's her space, and she's so dominant in that space that I like that she is dating someone who's not in that space, who can dabble in that space but be super successful in his own space, and he's just as dominant with the world that he operates on, and he's super charismatic and super confident, and he can certainly hold his own, and like I see that working. Well, you know, on this show, we are all about providing you a bunch of cool and different ways to be your best self, to feel your best, to take care of your body, and meet your wellness goals. And vitamins and supplements is a big part of meeting those goals as well. And we are meeting our vitamin and supplement needs with Care Of. If you haven't heard us talk about Care Of before, well, it's a subscription service that ships high-quality personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your doorstep every month. Consistency is key, and habitual changes lead to results. With Care Of, you get tools and motivation that help you track how you're feeling, notice the results, and adjust your routine as needed. All you do to get started is take a short, simple online quiz about your lifestyle and health goals, and Care Of will give you doctor-backed recommendations. It's that easy. Care Of makes taking your vitamins on the go so convenient. That's one of my favorite parts. If you are taking supplements and vitamins, like you can't just like take it for a day here or a day there. It's like a build. You know, you have to take it consistently over time for your body to respond. And honestly, ever since Care Of, it's been really helping me stay on that routine. So when you're traveling, you just take those packages that you have curated, you know, by taking that quick quiz and getting the doctor recommended, you know, results, and they curate your personalized, you know, supplement and vitamin needs, and they put in these little packages for you to travel, go where you want. It just makes you stay consistent with it. It's game changing when it comes to like making sure you hold yourself accountable to actually keep taking these supplements and vitamins. And not all vitamins and supplements are made equally. Making sure that you're getting high quality products is super important, and it's super important to care of. For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50. That's right. Again, to get 50% off your first Care of order. That's half off, people. Go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50. It's a wacky digital world out there, people. It's super important to keep your data safe and secure, and there are so many different ways out there that your information is exposed. I mean, in 2022 alone, there were over 1,800 data breaches that exposed personal information of over 422 million individuals. So don't be one of those people. You got to protect yourself and your family. And we're thrilled to partner with Aura because Aura is an all-in-one online safety solution that helps protect you and your family from identity theft, financial fraud, and online threats before they happen. With Aura, you can rest easy knowing that someone is looking out after you. Also, in case your identity was stolen, their white glove fraud resolution team will help you navigate credit bureaus, help you initiate credit freezes or lock, and work with you around the clock to resolve it. Aura offers a suite of tools to protect you and your loved ones, including real-time alerts on suspicious credit activity, computer virus protection, parental controls, a VPN, and a password manager. It's a comprehensive online safety solution that provides almost every tool you'll need all in one place. For a limited time, Aura is offering our listeners a 14-day trial plus a check of your data to see if your personal information has been leaked online. All for free when you visit aura.com/VIALL. Again, that's aura.com/VIALL to sign up for a 14-day free trial and start protecting you and your loved ones today. Again, aura.com/VIALL. Certain terms apply. Be sure to check the site for details. aura.com/VIALL.
Speaking of things we may or may not see working, Love is Blind couples, things have gotten a little bit kooky crazy. Do we want to start with Uche and Aaliyah because that's where we kind of begin this batch of episodes, or should we just hop right into the like Stacy, Izzy?
No, let's go. Well, Amy, you mentioned that you were slightly down on this season.
Yeah, I don't think this is the best season. I mean, obviously, one, I think having only 2 couples they're following is just inherently less.
Well, 3.
Oh.
We started with 3.
But it's
Down to
but we
2.
very quickly
Yeah,
lost.
the sugars immediately kind of
Sugar
fell off.
butt and sugar.
Yeah.
The sugar high ended.
Oh my gosh,
Sugar butt
sugar
turns out.
butt.
But
Oh
there's
my
so
gosh.
much drama this
So
season.
upsetting. Please call him Sugar Butt.
Sugar butt.
Oh my
Sugar butt.
Who called who sugar butt?
Taylor and JP.
Okay.
Taylor called
Sugar
JP
butt.
sugar butt, and he called her sugar, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
I'm
a
getting
cute-
that. But also, did we hear Derek's comment?
I said sugar turned sour.
Ooh.
Sour butt.
Why has anyone like actually understood why that guy wears only? You're wearing
Nick is
Americana.
wearing JP merch.
I'm wearing
today.
JP merch
Yeah.
today. I bought this over the week and I'm like, I'm wearing this today. Why? No, it's so fucking bizarre, his red, white, and blue.
I really want to have just like an OOTD of him on 4th of July.
Oh my
Like
God.
how my closet's like what are we giving, right? Like is it
What a nat-
normal like everyone else, like his day-to-day, or does he go to the extreme? I feel like he would go to the extreme.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Yeah,
I feel
if-
like he
if-
gets an animatronic bald eagle that he like flies in on to the barbecue and is like in more prints than you've ever seen in your
Face
life.
painted.
Yes.
Yeah.
If March 12th is him wearing red, white, and blue sneakers and red, white, and blue sunglasses and red, white, and blue t-shirts, then what is the 4th of July? Yeah, it's a great question.
Yes.
Yeah.
A patriot.
I love Love is Blind because even with On Bachelor, we don't try to recap the people or recap the characters. And Love is Blind like is casting like real life people in real life relationships and showing real life situations where it's just a group of people with red flags. Everyone, we could go down this list between Uche, Aaliyah, Johnny, Lydia, Milton, Taylor, JP, Stacy, Chris, and Izzy, and we could sit there and spend 20 minutes talking about each person's red flags. You know, like they've shown red flags from each of these people. And that's kind of what dating is, you know? It's just like no one's perfect. Everyone has their flaws. Everyone has their baggage. Everyone can get triggered. When they get triggered, sometimes they handle it well, sometimes they handle it poorly. And it's just like fun to break down and dissect, which is what because like, yeah, there's no one really here. The downside is, unlike Bachelor carves out these characters and they whitewash their heroes, and it's, you know, these good-looking, simple people who like are unproblematic, and so you can just fall in love with them via the soundtracks that
Yeah,
get
it's
played.
just a kindergarten teacher with a heart of gold.
Yeah, and it's just like oversimplified, and you're just like, and you relate to them because you think you see yourself through them or whatever it is, and you just love them for it. And then
No,
you have
but
your
I
villain.
think this is why this season isn't good because like the few personalities that there are so extreme. I don't see them as like everyday type of like Lydia is so intense and like over the top, and Milton is like clearly just like going along for the ride and like I don't know. It's like why I don't like Bachelor in Paradise, because on Bachelor in Paradise you're just following like the people who were the characters of the season, like the villains or like the what like people
The controversial.
I don't like have real feelings for them like I'd necessarily know if I'd want to like hang out with them or something. So it's like it just feels unrealistic to me. It's like the heightened versions of people, not the like everyday.
I've seen so many Lydias in my day. I've dated Lydias in my day.
Oh my God, what?
Have you seen Lydia's, guys? Maybe not to her like extent, but I definitely have been in rooms with women.
I
who are
also
very
think we're
much similar.
downplaying. I think there's a lack of self-awareness for all of us that like at our worst, we don't have cameras on us. Now, when we watch a fight with two people on reality TV, we have no grace for someone getting triggered or upset or acting poorly or doing something that requires an apology.
Dude, it's not Grace. It's like her going up being like, we are the same. We're the same. Like she's just so intense. I'm like,
Yeah.
take it down 70 notches. Like
70.
I know, but like they're out there. Like,
fine, but I'm not friends with them. I don't want to watch them on TV. Like, sorry. We were saying
Period,
we know the producer of the show, and I was like texting her from the first episode. I was like, I cannot stand her, this chick. So
no, she's awesome TV.
I struggled during her scenes as well.
Well, yeah, let's get into it because
Okay.
with Lydia, I feel like there's a real question about like some behavior that I feel like is definitely on the spectrum of stalking or being very involved and kind of monitoring a partner. When she was talking about, on one hand, I could see how Uche would totally feel really like violated and creeped out by that. I also felt like they were really giving us like the scary, like creepy serial killer soundtrack while he was describing it. What did you make of her kind of texting him a photo from her house and having followed the Instagram stories of several women that he follows?
the Instagram stories, whatever, that's embarrassing that she got caught, but we've all done that maybe. But like the sending the pic, I would, if you got a text from someone you were dating, they like
No, not dating. Someone you
You were
just
hooking-
ended things with.
and they said they're in front of your house.
Yeah.
I see you.
According to Uche, this was after he had been like Uche.
Gucci, Gucci.
Uche.
Let's call him that now.
But it was like after he allegedly said, "Hey, this isn't working out for me." Type of thing. You're still thinking about Uche Gucci? Uche. That makes it
Listen,
even worse.
I think Uche is a fucking lawyer, and he provided the evidence, and he is very like, the way he delivers stuff is over the top and intense. Like he's in a courtroom and he is really trying these cases. And I feel like the evidence
He
that
loves being right.
he kept having to be like, and I can show you this, and I can show you this, and I have proof of that. And it's like, yeah, it's embarrassing. Like, who really cares about the Instagram stuff? I think it was a little weird that she was looking at people he follows and watching their stories. I mean, I guess I would understand if like he was with them that night
that's
and she
what
was
I
like,
thought
let
it
me
was.
go see. But if it's just like random people he follows, they're
To
like,
a
"Who the fuck
degree
is this?"
that allowed other people to notice. You don't just randomly notice one time. You're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know who that is. But at a degree of which you're like,
I was
who the fuck
like,
is this Lydia person?
I was like, does this girl have like 4 followers? How is she noticing that this girl like
Yeah.
that
It
was
must
kind
be
of
weird.
odd too. Yeah.
It must be weird. And the house, like, I can see how that can be taken out of context in a way. Like, I'm sure I don't know, I've been at a place with someone where I maybe hooked up with them once and I see them and I text them, like, I see you. And they're probably like, what the fuck? And it's like, oh, we're in the same restaurant or whatever. Like, I feel like I've probably done that. I feel like it's definitely
But you'd be on
weird
good
that if
terms,
she's-
though, right?
But sure, I feel like maybe if he lives in a neighborhood and she can't just like drive.
do that.
But do we think
would.
Lydia
But the big
knows
question
when
is-
she's on good terms
the
with
big
Uche?
question is,
Yeah.
do we think that she suspected Uche was going to go on Love is Blind, and that's how she ended up on the show in the first place? Because that's the allegation. Uche posted last night on his Instagram stories that it's been confirmed that he can prove the lawyer that Uche is or whatever we haven't seen any evidence.
Nick, you were watching Uchi's stories?
No, well, because I heard he didn't show up for he didn't show up for the reunion. He posted it on his stories. And he's like promoting, he did like a Q&A. So someone informed me of it. So I went in prepreration for our show.
He's gonna be like, Nick Viall, watch my story.
Yeah, probably. Stalking you, Uche Gucci. I read some of his Q&A, which he addressed some of these things. And he has, but do we think that Lydia, that is a big coincidence that two people who dated months prior to this show and had, I guess, what like was a situationship or something, because he's like, we never dated. And he talked
did you cheat on Lydia? And he was like, no, because I didn't cheat on her because we never dated. We were both seeing other people at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like, were you only seeing other people?
And then he referred to, and then he was like, and if we were seeing someone when we went through the casting process, and when they asked Lydia who was the last person you dated, if we were dating, she would have said me, which fine. But that doesn't make sense because it's almost a contradiction to the fact that, like, well, no, because if you're accusing her of sneaking her way onto the show, she wouldn't have admitted to you dating, even if you were dating, because you're accusing her of planning this whole thing out. So which one is it? Uche?
Right.
Whoa, that was, whoa.
Whoa.
Right? Did you follow?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about them anymore.
You just hate them.
I don't like them.
They're on the show.
I like Izzy. That's about it.
Interesting.
Really?
Izzy.
You don't like him?
No.
He doesn't come off great in episodes 5 through 7.
No.
Do we want to address at all the Aaliyah and Uche conversation? I'm kind of surprised that, like, again, back to, like, it seems like people just want to take sides. And to me, it's just like they both have their red flags.
I thought Aaliyah seemed nice. She dodged a bullet, honey.
I'm sure she seems nice, but she doesn't, to me, she seems like someone who, like, may or may not have, like, addressed why she decided to cheat on someone a couple of years later. And then, like, she left without telling Uche, then she comes back. It just seems all a bit dramatic.
But I kind of saw it as like, this girl was like, okay, this is fucking weird. I'm out. Like, that's the most normal reaction you could actually have in that situation.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone,
Ghosting?
like, leaving the show. You're like, okay, there's a lot of people manipulating me. Like, bye.
But then be done.
Yeah, but
It's
then
just
the
a lot of-
producers probably were like, please, like, you're contractually obligated, whatever.
So you look at Aaliyah, and I'm sure she's wonderful, but you don't see any. You watch that and go, no red flags there. That is a well-grounded,
I'm not saying
emotionally
she's
healthy
perfect, but
person
I'm
who's
like-
like ready to.
Compared to those other two, yeah.
But her, like, following him on Instagram, blocking him on Instagram,
Oh, right,
sending
right
him a
about that.
voice
The
note,
fact
deleting
that
the
he
voice note.
calls
Like,
that
was
shit
crazy.
out, though, is like,
It's dirty. Dirty
it's
politics.
so fucking
Yeah.
petty. Like when and then I went to message you, but then you had unsent it, and then you had done this, and she probably feels so embarrassed, and he's just like blasting her on national television.
I
like
couldn't
lawyer
agree more. I
mode.
couldn't agree more.
Lawyer
because it's
mode,
like,
yeah.
it is weird that she's done that, and if she's doing that, just walk away. Don't decide to be like, oh no, I'm going to use this and like let's set a scene up so I can just roast you. Like he's just trying to like take her down. Clearly, he's not planning on dating her. Or actually, he claimed that they agreed to date off the show in his Instagram stories. So
And kiss.
So who knows? But yeah,
Poor Aaliyah.
he's a little dirty. All he cares about is winning
That's true.
And that's probably why he didn't go to the reunion.
because he knew he'd lose.
Yeah.
He knew he was going to get ganged up on, and he
Well, I
couldn't
wonder if
control the edit.
Aaliyah's there
Yeah.
then. I
What?
would assume that Aaliyah is at the reunion.
I believe
I would guess.
I heard
right?
she was there.
Yeah.
It's interesting how on Love is Blind, it feels like the best kind of like most shining moment you can have is sort of like what Dipti had with Shake, where she was like, fuck you, I deserve better. And it feels like you see like contestants tend to err on the side of walking away and saying, I want someone who chooses me, as opposed to I'm going to stick it out and try to make it happen. And I feel like sometimes you see various like flavors of that, where with Chris, I genuinely believe that he was like, nah, this doesn't feel right. I can't do it with Johnny. And then after the fact, they reconnected and he was open to it. But it didn't seem like he wanted his TV moment. It seemed like he was like very much making the decision in real time. With Uche, I agree that there is kind of this like lawyer, like I am building a case for myself because we are now separate parties. And I want to make sure I come out ahead in this. And like, you are not as credible as you could seem.
Who are the most sincere people? I feel like, the right reasons argument, who do you think is actually there to like give this experiment a shot? And who do you think's there for TV?
Of this
Of this group, yeah.
Guys, this is not a good group. This is not a good season. Come
I think
on.
Taylor, Chris, and Izzy are there for and JP. I actually think JP was, despite all his issues.
I would agree with those.
JP wasn't there for TV.
Milton.
Wait, pause. Chris, do we feel so sad for him?
Love.
I
We
love
him.
Chris.
But like, should he be with that girl?
No. Johnny?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. That's Chris's red flag. Chris's red flag is ignoring red flags.
Oh, honey.
But I don't know. He seemed, and granted, this is obviously such a small excerpt of their relationship. He seemed very prepared to comfort her. It felt like it wasn't so emotionally taxing. Like, I feel like sometimes you'll see arguments where one partner is like distraught and the other partner is doing their best because they know, like, okay, I'm not the distraught one in this situation. So I am trying to comfort you or like help you de-escalate. And you can tell it's getting that person kind of like riled up trying to de-escalate. With Chris, it felt like he was so secure, so calm, so ready to reassure her in a way that felt like, oh, I could see them having a really nice like balance. And it feels like they both got to reclaim like the whimsy of like, we saw each other in person and the connection was undeniable. Like, I feel like that feels like such a reset of the love story element of this, which isn't necessarily important, but in shows like this, they're all trying to frame their own love story, which is why I think they leave when someone doesn't choose them first, because like, that's not part of the love story. And so I feel like they actually have a shot and that Chris is a king.
You Johnny and Chris.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We have Izzy coming in on this week of Going Deeper. We have lots to talk to Izzy about, including the ending of episode 7, which him and Stacy seem like a couple of little mean girls. But I am curious about his perception, because Izzy does seem like, for all his faults, that he really is all in on this whole like Love is Blind experiment. Like, I think there's two kinds of people. I'm going to be cryptic here because I've heard things, but I want to wait till we interview Izzy and ask him before I kind of taint the water, so to speak. But there are two kinds of people on Love is Blind, right? There are people who like will call up these producers when they're going through this relationship problems and I guess use the producers. I mean like just go to the producers to like, because they're the only ones to talk to about like their relationship problems, and they're just like there to ask a genuine like, what should I do? This happened. We fought about this. I don't fucking know. Like someone would to a friend. And then there are people on Love is Blind who are like, hey, so just so you know, we fought about this, and if you want to bring the cameras over, like, we're ready to film, and it's very much obvious to like some of the producers that it's really just, I found another way to get on TV. And I'm curious what Izzy has to say about that, because what I didn't get between Izzy and Stacy is, why are they so fucking mean to Johnny?
I thought Izzy was kind of doing it to show to Stacy something, or like how into her he was. I don't know what it was, but Stacy did. I thought this batch of episodes just did not come off well. She was so mean to her. What about the paper plates? Would that bother you guys that much?
No. Who
At
the fuck
29?
cares? Who the fuck cares? You're a man. You live alone. Like, I don't expect you to have fine china.
I wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't be like, ugh.
I'd be like, oh, that's funny. Like,
I'd be
no,
like, let's
yeah.
go to Target and buy some plates.
Yeah.
Like,
You walk in, you go, okay, this tracks. You clearly haven't dated someone
yeah.
like me yet.
And his
or-
apartment was nice.
I
It
don't know,
wasn't.
like you haven't
Yeah.
dated an adult woman. You're still on the college frat trajectory, like as every guy is to a certain degree.
Nick, did you ever have just paper? Like,
No, but like it wasn't a ton better. You know what I'm saying?
you had like mismatched silverware.
mixed match
yeah,
shit. Like
in your 20s?
no,
Because when I
even
met you, you had like a beautiful, decorated, you had great.
fine, thank you. You're very nice, but you have certainly elevated.
You had a bar cart.
Thank you. You're very nice.
Wow.
Really, that was recent though. Right?
You have
Thanks.
elevated our home on ways I can't even describe.
As
Is
you
the
did
point
have,
is like you've to Amy's point, you took what you were working with when you met me, and you're just like, let's just fix the problem,
Right.
Yeah.
rather than act like this couldn't be fixed. It's like,
Although
go to fucking Target.
I do think when she asked if you made me dinner, you would serve it to us on paper plates. I did think that was a little weird. If I had a first date and a guy was like serving on paper plates, I'd be like, you made dinner, but I don't know.
Yeah, his platings isn't great, but back to your original point,
Yeah.
this is a solvable problem.
Agreed.
She's treating it like a non-negotiable, and
Yeah.
Stacy seems like at every step of the way from post-Mexico. Where are these people from again? They don't really highlight.
Houston, Dallas.
It-
Or
Houston.
shit. Yeah.
remember
Houston?
Miriam?
Houston.
Okay. They don't seem to highlight as much as other seasons.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see.
really don't.
It's like I always knew they were in
We just
Chicago.
get like a few more like bless your hearts and American flags.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay.
But anyway, anyways, ever since they get back to Houston, Stacy is just like every little problem, she tries to make it into a bigger problem.
Well, she clearly, the whole theme of this slate of episodes was that she thinks, or they're from different financial backgrounds and she can't get over it, right? Like, what did you think of the parent interaction?
I mean, I love the line of sometimes love wants to fly first class.
Which, not wrong.
Like, we would all love to fly first class for sure. I thought it was funny how Izzy's feet were dangling in the chair.
I saw that too. Yeah.
That was a tough look for Iz.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, well, so when it's just Stacy and Izzy together, and the morning where Stacy has clogged the toilet and like it seems like they're very comfortable, and I really clocked that as like, oh wow, like that would be kind of a nightmare scenario to like clog the toilet your first night, or like one of the early nights you are staying with someone and you're on reality TV. Like that's a nightmare. And it seemed like they were both very much in good spirits about it, so I was like, okay, like it seems like this is a couple who like they really prioritize like staying connected, having a good time.
No,
and then
he's down to be flexible. She's not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. She fucked up. You know, she broke a toilet, shit in the toilet. And Izzy,
She fucked up.
She
fucked up.
She will never recover.
No, but
She shit in the toilet.
Izzy's like, he's like, whatever, man. You know, everyone poops. He handles it the best possible way. He tries to diffuse the situation, to Amy's point. But if it was the roles were reversed, Stacy would have figured out a way to make it seem like you're disgusting. You don't flush a toilet.
100%.
How could you? You're a man. You can't handle like a broken toilet. Why do you have to make it your problem, my problem type of thing? She's not reciprocating. Izzy is like, he's there to like truly like embrace this experiment. He's like, is love is blind? I don't know. Like there's a bunch of things I can worry about, but I'm going to focus on our connection. And Stacy's literally the opposite. Like, is love blind? I don't know, but I need to fly first class. I need you to not have paper plates, you know, yada, yada, yada.
She makes everything seem like with the paper plates, it was like, do you think I'm not worthy enough to eat on glass? Like, you think that like, that's how she makes and it's like, if he were to shit in the toilet, she'd be like, you don't think I'm like worthy enough to like get that cleaned up? Like, where am I supposed to go to the restroom now? You know, and like the tennis shoes on his bed, the lost and found. Should we talk about his lost and found drawer?
Yeah, well, yes, we should. But like right before we do, but it seems like her family is like in the nicest possible way trying to what did I do?
I was just talking about his apartment. You're like, no, I want to keep things in order. Let's go back to the
We were
first
talking
episode.
about her family.
Because I feel like there's like there's definitely like a financial component, and they have some conversations about money. So I feel like maybe like finishing up that thread.
No, it's just
and
more
then-
like every step of her way, Stacy's family, and this is a thread throughout. It's like they're trying, and it's their daughter, it's their sister, so they're trying to be protective, but the nicest possible way. They're trying to be like, she's kind of a spoiled brat.
Yeah, no,
you know, like
they don't even seem to care that much.
Well, okay. A lot of the stuff she said really rubbed me the wrong way. I found it kind of classist. That being said,
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. It was a lot of it was like, yeah, I was like, this is bad. I do think Stacy has a mentality of I work very hard. Like the fact that Stacy has gotten to where she is in life on her own thus far. And granted, I'm sure there were a ton of assistance from like parents or like they paid for her college. I'm sure there were ways that she had many, many, many advantages. That being said, I do think she is someone who has sustained this kind of lifestyle for herself. And I don't think it was okay the way she was talking, but I think it was a little bit less bad because she was like making it a priority on her own. And it wasn't just something that she expected like a partner or a man to come in and suddenly she would have this lifestyle. Like I kind of get where she's coming from of I have a mortgage on this house. We do need to talk about an HVAC repair. Like I thought that was a valid conversation. It was just, she said so many other things around before and after that kind of tainted that.
But she also wants the man to pay for dinner. So it's like she's not like, I've worked hard and I want you to meet me where I am. She's like, we can do 50-50 on the house, but like you have to pay for dinner. And he was like, oh, do you just want the man to pay for everything? And she goes, no! Like she said it like that, which is the most like, oh, okay, you want the man, you want to date your rich dad, clearly.
Yeah. So, okay. So ultimately, like, I do think Stacy's attitude towards money was like, yeah, like not the most progressive. And certainly there are some undertones that like I wouldn't have been comfy with. I do think there's at least a tiny bit of credit due for talking about this and talking about it in a pretty specific way. Again, I don't agree with those expectations of like a man paying for dinner every time. I do think it's important that she's talking about it. And it seems like she's at least willing to be like transparent about her expectations, even if those expectations are a little bit whack.
I hear you. It's just more, it's not that she wants to talk about it. It's that she isn't trying to resolve the issues. She's trying to bring them up and try any issue she comes up with. She's hoping that's the issue that justifies her being able to leave. She's like building a case.
Interesting.
For herself.
I feel like she's building a case for herself so she can like dipty it at the end. Very much like, it's like every time there's a big moment, like the Hannah Brown of it all. How many bachelorettes post Hannah Brown have we seen try to have a Hannah Brown moment? You know, a few. And I feel like Love is Blind, same thing. It's just like they've seen the playbook, they've seen the success, and now I think Stacy's trying to craft a narrative that will allow her to say no to Izzy at the altar.
And I feel like a big part of this narrative is, as you were saying, the lost and found box.
The lost and found box.
What do we think?
Fucking weird. I think it's really fucking weird that I would understand which I feel like they did this in the past, where they just showed up at the apartment and like it wasn't clean. It was right before they left for the show. And it was like you got to see them in their real and their raw environment. Izzy did say he went to the house the night before and like picked up, and he was like, I saw the lost and found drawer and I just didn't do anything with it. That's fucking weird. Throw that shit out. Why are you keeping it? Why are you then making it a point to show Stacy? Like, she made a joke about the nightstand. I think she was like, where did like they put their earrings? He's like, oh, they put them right over here in this bathroom drawer where there's a ring and a bobby pin, and like you had no reason to do that.
Nick had a drawer.
No, but
But what?
But
I just
I had a closet.
he had an entire wardrobe.
I had a storage unit.
I definitely did not have a drawer, but I think it's not as uncommon. I think a lot of guys have.
No, what did you have, Nick?
I didn't have a drawer.
What did you have?
Nothing.
You never kept an errant earring that someone left at your house.
I have, but like usually it was to like, oh, they were going to pick it up, and either eventually I threw it out. I did not have a collection, but
Okay.
guys do, and they do because it's a trophy drawer.
Like, look at this collection of
Like
things.
their boys are like, what?
It's like their conquest.
It's a
Hold on,
conquest drawer.
yeah.
That's why Izzy has it.
But-
If you want to know why,
What? No, I
'Cause he
thought he
can,
might
like-
have it because it's like, you never know if you're going to fuck that person again.
I think
so,
it's a
like,
combination.
They'll come back and get their
No, no,
ring, you know?
but to Natalie's, it's a combination of both. I think at first, right, it's like, oh, they left it behind, so I'm not going to just throw it out. Maybe I'll see him again. Whatever. Maybe we'll hook up again. And then someone else came and someone else left something trivial behind. And then he was like, I'll just throw it all in the same drawer. I think at first, organically, it all happened like innocently. But there was a point where he looked at this drawer and was like,
Yeah, I fucked.
I'm not, yeah.
I fucked.
Exactly. And he just, and his reason for keeping it wasn't because he hoped to return it to its rightful owner. It was a reminder of he fucks.
That makes me sad.
I do think there was one thing he said in passing where he was like, you were going through all the drawers anyway. Like, where I could kind of see, again, I don't think he should have kept it in the first place, but I could kind of see why he talked about it, because he was like, I want to beat her to it. Like, it's going to be so much worse, like, if she finds this versus, like, if I'm like, nope, this is where I have
I
it.
don't
But then he could have thrown it away.
I don't even think it was that. I think it all just happened too fast. I mean, and this the whole Love is Blind experiment. He's not the only guy who, hate to say it, but it's, I think, it's more common than not. A guy who's in his fuckboy era.
I mean, I have plenty of girlfriends who keep who still sleep in like a flannel from a dude from like many years ago. Single friends. Like, I have friends who do
Yeah,
that. Or,
but
like,
that's
a
more
shirt
about
or
the
something.
T-shirt, I'm guessing, than a drawer full of
Maybe,
conquests.
but like, you're like, oh yeah, it's from like a guy from one time.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think Izzy's like this super weird guy who might, and it is a thing guys do. But with him not throwing it out, I think he went on this experiment. He left his apartment. And like most people who go on reality TV, they don't know what they're getting into. They're thinking, I don't know if I'm really going to meet someone. They're just like showing up, whatever. Then they get immersed in this bubble. They get kind of brainwashed. Some of them fall in love like Izzy. He meets a girl. He comes back. This is all going a million miles per hour. He gets out of the bubble. He's back into his apartment the first time. He's kind of like doing an inventory of his house, sees the drawer. He's kind of like, oh shit, that's crazy. Kind of just closes it up. Not really thinking about it, not like panicking and to get rid of it. But then again, the next day she's there. It's all happening so fast. And then through these conversations, he's probably thinking, I probably should have got rid of that shit, right? And then volunteers that information because he knows it's probably fucking weird that he has it. And then from that point on, he doesn't know how to just say, I fucked up. It's super
Yes.
weird that I have that. I should have got rid of it. He knows it's weird and he knows he fucked up and he knows he should have got rid of it, but he just didn't I think it all happened so fast coming back from the bubble. You know, he left that show as a fuckboy, just kind of fucking around, being 29, living life. But I'll go on a show. I'm good looking. I've been working out, to being fucking engaged. He wasn't planning on that. And he is trying to basically fix all this in real time.
Well, we'll get to ask Izzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure will.
Are you going to come for that?
Oh, for sure.
I think Izzy has a warped perception of Johnny via Stacy.
Yes.
Stacy fucking hates Johnny.
But she's jealous.
Yeah, I think it was hard because maybe Stacy was talking shit in the pods. It did seem like, at least in the pods,
Johnny, you mean Johnny?
No,
talking shit?
no, Stacy, because we didn't see Stacy talking shit about Johnny in the pods. We saw Johnny talking shit about Stacy.
Okay.
And granted, Stacy was quote unquote winning, so it's she probably had less shit to talk or was feeling less threatened. But in general, I do think there were moments where it seemed like Johnny was insecure, upset about the way things were going down, and channeled that and was speaking negatively about Stacy in a way that was kind of tough. So I could see how with Stacy it feels like a retaliation more than an attack towards Johnny, if that makes sense. But either way, it's she's not being the bigger person.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's just hard because I do feel like Stacy had that really emotionally intelligent moment where she was comforting Lydia way back when in the first chunk of episodes, where she was saying really honest but inspiring things, where she was listen, Milton just needs time to process this information. Do not give up. Be brave. People need to use our past as roadmaps on how to love us better. I feel like there was a moment where Stacy really won me over with emotional intelligence, and then I feel like she lost all of it based on how she and Izzy were just being real mean girls.
That's the thing. It's she has a right not to like Johnny. Don't like Johnny. Don't talk to her. Ignore her. But she doesn't ignore her. She's fucking mean to her.
Yeah,
Right.
it's bad.
It's bad.
And when then Izzy at the end, when he sits down with Johnny and just goes off on her, I think one of the meanest things you can say to someone, and it's just an immediate sign that you're a fucking bully, is when you say to someone, everyone else thinks this about you. If you share your opinion, if you criticize someone, be I think you're shady. Izzy, it's just tells Johnny, and it's not just me, it's everyone else.
Yeah.
You're a fucking bully when you say that. Because first of all, you haven't pulled everyone else ever. Maybe one other person agrees with you, and then you've turned that into everyone.
Yeah, you're acting like you did a peer-reviewed research study where you pulled everyone aside and were
and when you receive that information, even if you think they're just saying it to be mean, it is such a fucking cruel thing to hear. Everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, people have sat down and discussed this? Everyone thinks this about, what the fuck? It's so fucking mean.
Yeah, it's your worst nightmare.
If you've ever said this to someone, you have been a bully.
Wait, talking about mean. We never talked about JP and Taylor and the makeup comment.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That's the biggest one. You got to get to it.
That is insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Amy, I want you to start because I feel
wear
like
a
you
lot of
have
makeup.
strong. Well, no. Because it's something that you're very clearly
it's what? It just logically doesn't make sense. Sure, can a dude prefer a woman without? I believe that he's less attracted to her when she wears makeup, but to hinge the entire thing around that, she can just not wear makeup very much. It just doesn't make sense. Do you think he didn't like her for other reasons, or what's the
craziest part to me was the only time she wore makeup was at the reveal. So that was his initial okay, this is her. The next 4 days, she didn't wear an ounce.
And shouldn't he be more upset if he didn't like how she looks without makeup? Because she can't change that.
It has been confirmed. I have heard that in Mexico, she literally wore no makeup. And she is stunning without makeup.
No, that's my point,
Yeah.
is that those 4 days, he still was so fucking awkward. He could not speak. He was mute. He was I could not imagine being around him. I'm sure she felt so uncomfortable. And it's okay, I get maybe at the reveal, you're a little awkward because you're whoa, okay, that's a lot of makeup. I don't expect
so
that.
That's so unrealistic that it's just he's in his mind only thinking about this one moment. Come
can't
on,
get
there's
it out of
something
my
else going
head.
on.
Yeah, that was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
No, it is. I'm going to try to make sense of it to you.
Come on, dude logic.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Can you? Well, please
No,
do, because I don't understand why any man would have an opinion
I don't-
on that. And
What? I do understand that.
Okay.
but
so,
but why he would feel the need to voice it or regulate, to use that as such a strong tenet of why you like or dislike someone. Don't men know that's
it's not
yeah.
really why. It's I look at JP and Taylor and I feel sad, honestly, because that was a couple when they got engaged. I was like, this makes sense to me. I want them to work out.
They're the Tiffany and Brett of this season. They're going strong.
I don't know about that, but they just seem like they could work, you know? And then you hear JP's like his childhood sounds like it was pretty fucked up. His mom just like kind of being angry all the time and abandoning him and things like that. And I've heard, some background that like it was he had a pretty ugly childhood. Doesn't excuse present behavior, but just felt for him. He cleared as a mute. He can't speak. Like him not talking. How could you be in a relationship with a guy like that? Like it's impossible and frustrating. I just think from a guy's standpoint, I think what we witnessed was a male ick, and he didn't handle it well. He didn't handle it appropriately. He let it get in his head.
But it's not an ick it's an ick that can be changed.
Listen, not like a year or two ago, I think it was Tinks. I don't know who coined the phrase ick.
I feel like it might have been Tinks. Or I think she definitely popularized it.
But either way, she goes on the internet and she's like, you guys ever heard of an ick? And it's just this, and it's my understanding, described by the women, is that it's this trivial thing that you can't really explain, that once you see or witness, it will completely turn you off.
Yeah.
And you don't know why. And I'm here to say that guys have them too. And I've experienced dating someone where something happens, I get an ick, and it just like, it's a fucking like virus that gets planted in my mind that just like builds, and grows. All JP had to do, in the 4 fucking days in Mexico where she wore no fucking makeup, is every day wake up and go, babe, you are so gorgeous. Like, I love your freckles.
No,
you have
but
the best fucking skin. You just gas her up every goddamn day and make her feel beautiful.
She goes, what's your favorite part about today? Like they had just rode the golf cart or whatever the fuck it was.
That you're not wearing makeup?
And he's like, no, he goes, that I can see your freckles. That's my favorite part today, that I can see your freckles. Don't ever cover up your freckles. And she was like, okay, that's your favorite part of today. Like he said it, he doesn't make it where it's like casual and where she can feel confident. It's like,
he's a terrible communicator.
I agree that he's allowed to have an ick, obviously. It's just like,
it's his delivery.
like this girl is like probably swallowing so many effing icks to try to make this work. You wear fucking exclusively red, white, and blue. You don't think that's an ick?
No,
like,
truly. Of course.
Like, truly.
I'm not standing up for the guy. You asked, make it make sense. And I'm just saying, I'm watching it. And
but why are women so much more down? I feel like, generally.
I would agree.
Just like look past things that men are not.
100%.
I can't speak to,
Yeah.
I feel like Taylor's way out of JP's league. I can't
agree.
I can't understand why he can't see that, or, but I just saw a guy who got an idea planted in his head and he couldn't let it go. And on top of that, he's just a terrible fucking communicator. He's got some past childhood trauma. It doesn't seem like he's dealt with. And yeah, he's got absolutely no game and no charisma. And that turned into him not knowing what to fucking say. And instead of just like complimenting her every morning, telling her how beautiful she looks, how great her skin is, how beautiful her freckles are, how she's a natural beauty, and just make her like just feel so confident about not wearing makeup. No, he just is an asshole about it. And just like, thank God you're not wearing fucking makeup today. And
yeah,
shit
and
like that.
99% of women would love it if I said that to them. And I was just like, dude.
No, they wouldn't, because you say it like an
would.
asshole. It's so much in the delivery, obviously, but it's not that he's like a monster. I think he's just, I feel bad for him. I feel bad because like, unfortunately, there's a lot of JPs out there. And the solution isn't just to just say they're terrible men who don't deserve love. No, unfortunately, they just, I don't know how we teach them, and I don't know what the solution to the problem is.
Therapy.
Therapy. He needs to work out his issues. He can't just hang out with the guys, and he needs to be, if he wants someone to love him for who he is. And we said this whole, like, I deserve someone to love me for who I am. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe you need to change.
Yeah.
You don't get to just keep it real all the time and expect everyone to love everything about you. Not many people are that lucky.
Yeah. And the loving someone for who they are is not meant to be an excuse to put off growth.
Yeah.
It's meant to be like something else.
Or have bad style or wear red, white, and blue all the time. It's
all the damn time.
That is a wild thing that he's so, like, what is that?
Did she ever ask him? Why was she never like, okay, well, he's like, well, you wear a lot of, okay, bitch, where you wear all, that's all you wear. Like, why was that never?
Nice.
She's nice.
She is. She's a good person.
Peloton, get your workout on with Peloton. Hey, listen, you know Peloton from their wonderful bicycles and their treadmills and their equipment, but did you know that Peloton is offering an array of classes that you can use from the comfort of your home? Listen, you're all busy people out there. There's so much time wasted from like deciding to go to the gym, pack a workout bag, get in the car, travel, change, all you know the drill. Like you could have done like 2 workouts on Peloton just by going to the gym and coming home. So if you're a busy person, you don't have a lot of time, it's amazing what you can bang out in like 15, 20 minutes. You know, they have a variety of different fun classes. They have bar classes, yoga classes, meditation classes, boxing, dance, a variety of classes. Again, you can just move the couches, you know, in your New York apartment, get your workout on right in the morning. I love those home workout videos. It's amazing what you can do, and they're hard. And if you dedicate yourself to these classes and you do it consistently and you do it for like 15, 20 minutes a day, you'll see real changes. I assure you. And the best part is you can do it with your friends who live across the country. It's interactive. You have a lot of different cool professionals who are teaching these classes. There's great music. It's fun and interactive. It keeps you motivated and helping you meet whatever wellness goals you have. Well, wherever you move, Peloton app is everything that's so great about Peloton at your fingertips. So wherever you are, the park, your home, or even the gym, you can get after it with Peloton. Get started for free. Join now for your first 30 days free. Free for 30 days. There is no excuse not to try this deliciously wonderful app. Anywhere you get moving, you can do it with Peloton. Try Peloton app today for free for 30 days. New paid memberships only, starting at $12.99 a month after trial, unless canceled. Terms apply. Again, try Peloton app for free for 30 days. Today's podcast is brought to you by NutriSense. NutriSense is giving us real critical information that you can use to augment or, you know, kind of redefine whatever your eating habits, your workout habits, things like that. It's information you can bring to your healthcare providers and say, hey, I've learned this, and what should I do about it? It's a small device that you put on the back of your arm and then provides you real-time feedback on how your body responds to the foods that you're eating, exercise, stress, or even your sleep. With NutriSense, you take a photo of your meal adjusted for portion size, and NutriSense does the rest. NutriSense helps you track your data, see your glucose trends, and understands your macronutrient breakdown for each meal. You also get an overall glucose score for each meal based on your body's response. You'll be matched with a board-certified nutritionist who will review your data and answer all your questions. Plus, you can help with your personalized nutrition plan so that you can achieve your goals. If you're looking to take the next step into meeting those wellness goals, whatever those goals may be, you need to try NutriSense today. It will open your eyes to new and profound ways to how your food, exercise, and lifestyle choices are affecting you. What's more, it empowers you with a real-time feedback loop showing the consequences of your food and lifestyle choices. You can get all this today. NutriSense has a special offer for our listeners. Visit nutrisense.com/VIALL and use code VIALL to start decoding your body's messages and pave the way for a healthier life. Be sure to tell them that you learned about NutriSense on the Viall Files podcast. That's nutrisense.com/VIALL for $30 off your first month plus a month of board-certified nutritionist support.
Wait, okay, speaking of nice, should we get to our stunning, lovely Golden Bachelor, sweet Gerry?
Yes, I love
What
him.
a king.
Saturday night, Natalie and I, we just got done watching some Love is Blind. We obviously had a lot of TV to watch. And, you know, it's just a bit overwhelming to know that you have fucking 3 hours of fucking Bachelor to watch. And so Natalie and I were just like, all right, let's fucking put it on. Let's just watch this shit. Let's get it over with. We're making dinner. You know, figured we'll just kind of eat and watch, kind of almost in the background. Turn it on. We just started making dinner. 3 minutes in, Natalie and I are fucking bawling. Just
It was
sobbing.
I mean,
Then Natalie kind of like comes to, wipes away the tears. I'm still like, I can't like get a hold of myself. Like, you know, when you're like really sad and you just don't really like get back to neutral, and then something like not as sad but still kind of sad happens, and you're just like, oh my God, again?
Like the seal's been broken.
Yeah, that's me. I was just like, I couldn't.
What set you off?
Him talking about the passing of his wife. And
Also, like Lake House vibes. I'm sure that's very emotional for you as someone who like understands.
Was
like,
that,
it was just.
was that not like me with Michael Scott leaving the office the other night?
I'm sorry, what?
Michael Scott's final episode on The Office.
On The Office.
We're watching.
Like 7-year-old man losing his wife, Michael Scott leaving the office.
I could not stop sobbing, and I was like unfucking well. And we're just in bed about to go to sleep, and Nick's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, It
It was a very sweet episode.
Okay.
You know,
It was very sweet, but it was I was uncontrollably sobbing, and Nick was.
it just
as well.
like got me. I don't know what it was. Like, you know, one, here's what I think is so enjoyable about the Golden Bachelor. No one's there for the gram.
I was yes.
Yes.
That is what it is.
There's a sincerity there
Yes.
that we
Yes.
just haven't been able to appreciate for a long fucking time. And it seemed like people genuinely there to make a connection. Now, where when we watch these shows, Love is Blind, Bachelor in Paradise, it's not about who's looking for love. It's who can win a breakup. That's what Love is Blind is. And that's what reality TV show is now. It's not about looking for love. It's how do I win this breakup? Because eventually I'm going to break up with this person. And I got to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. I got all my ammunition so that I can come out on top looking like the winner of this breakup. And the Golden Bachelor is like people being like, you know what? I just want to like, in my last years on this earth, I want to find someone to like play
take a
fucking
risk.
cards with and hang out with and just like enjoy, you know, and have a second chance at love because I've been fucking lonely for a while, you know?
Absolutely.
I think one of the most wholesome moments was when it might have been April. I don't remember, but it was one of them who
April's
had.
the therapist, right?
They also had a hearing aid. She was like, I have a little bit of ear candy too, and he goes, "Oh, sweet."
Yes. No, Gary's responses are amazing. They're so endearing. Yeah, there's a lot of those. Like, oh, good golly. You know, like,
The cupcake move, like game.
No, he is so swagalicious. He is like, he is the Riz. He has so much charisma. He like, I don't know. Yeah, he got the first kiss really smooth.
But what I do worry about, I think because of the lack of other reasoning for going on the show, like they aren't as desperate to be famous or whatever, hopefully not at all, is that the stakes are a little higher. Like, well, I'm taking this chance. It's like a big, big chance. And the emotions, I think, will be much like the crushing rejection might be really intense. Like, obviously, when he was upset, you could see in the preview, it was a
Oh my
lot.
God. At the rose ceremony when he's sending the women home
And he cried.
and he's crying. Oh my God.
Protect this man. Like, that was just what I was thinking to myself this whole time. Was I was like, he is so pure. He is so earnest. Like, everything about this is magical.
I do feel like, and we are going to get some drama because despite the earnestness and the genuineness of all these people, there's got to be at least a couple of women who have been watching Housewives for the past 20 years.
The lady in the blue shiny dress, she was
Yeah, there's a couple of ladies who have definitely been watching Bravo for the past 20 years and Housewives specifically that like they're ready to shake shit up.
Well, I felt like April when that is like the most sexual chicken impression I've ever seen.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Remind me?
And I'm not.
When she
and I'm
brought
not,
the eggs in, and she was like,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm
fucking
not
with
shaming her
chicken.
for it, but like she was like body rolling as a chicken. She was really.
Good for her. She's a therapist from Fort Lauderdale. April dreams of writing a best-selling book. She might be here for fame.
There was something about April that felt kind of different from the other women, and it's too soon to judge, but I definitely clocked it.
I loved how all of the women, and I think they showed kind of a montage of it, were just so kind to each other. They're like, oh my God, I love your earrings. Oh, that dress looks stunning on you. Oh my God, your hair is so beautiful. And I think that's another thing about that generation is they're not like jealous and insecure. Like they're just who they are, and they're just bad
or they
bitches.
keep it to themselves.
Yeah,
If they
at least not to
are,
your
or they-
face.
Yeah.
I also thought it was so sweet when Gerry walked in after all the limo entrances and like the cocktail party portion was starting, how when someone handed him a drink, he goes, "Thank you, Teresa." And I was like, this man learned their names.
Oh, I know.
He is on it. It is so sweet to see.
Well, she is the one who walked in and was like, I'm in my birthday suit, and started stripping in front of him. So I'm sure he did remember her name.
I wish it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting that the show is only an hour and Bachelor in Paradise is 2 hours. Like, that is such a bad trait.
Was it only an hour?
It was only an
Yes.
hour.
Yeah, I did feel like it went by really fast.
I just thought I was really enjoying it.
Well, I think they
Well, that
kind of.
too.
Yeah, and I'm sure there would have been like the 2-hour version of that episode would have been certainly like way less charming. Like whatever like little
I don't
drama they would have focused on. Because sometimes it's like a 3-hour season premiere. Like we've seen so much more. And usually it's like there's some level of like laying the groundwork for women who might not like each other down the line. And this, it just felt like it was like good vibes only.
And the first impression, Rose, apparently, because we've been very critical on this show for people who bring out a guitar and sing.
No, I know. And she was like actually good.
But like it just works. And it
They
works
had
for Gerry.
sexual tension, you guys. Like,
did.
The eye contact was.
I'm not
Yeah.
not because you rode in on a motorcycle, not because you sang me a song, but because you made me feel special. Gary says.
so
And
kind.
He is. I mean, I get why they picked him.
Guys, are they gonna bone in the fantasy suite?
Do you think he's gonna fuck 3? 2? 3 or 2?
Absolutely not.
You think he's
I don't
a
know if he's-
gentleman and you think he'll only fuck his...
Using the language,
I think
I'm
you have
like,
to stop
oh,
saying
honey.
fuck.
I think
I
Gary
said
makes
bone.
love.
Makes love.
I think
Gary
it's
makes
fake
love.
Big love.
Is Gary
doesn't
gonna even
know.
make love to one woman? Is that like respectful? I guess he's kissed 2 on the first app. Okay, he's
Yeah.
down.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
he's
You
down.
always hear about like the nursing homes and syphilis.
Did you see that they went to nursing homes for the promotional?
No.
That like when you would be the bachelor and you'd
Sure,
go
sure.
to like someone's house, like they went to nursing homes to like screen it.
It's kind of cute.
That's
Yeah.
Screen it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this could really be a new dawn for The Bachelor because I think it's a format that like we've seen them, I think, like try to modernize it to keep up with some of the shows that have just like built in a little bit more crazy premises. Like, and with the 2 bachelorettes and all the kind of twists and turns. And I was like, I think this like very kind of wholesome OG basic love reality show format works so much better with this age demographic.
Well, I think partly is just because I think the typical cast for the past going on a decade now has just been warped by social media. We now just kind of make fun of the lack of sincerity when we watch The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise and Love is Blind. Love is Blind seems a little bit more genuine, but like there's just such a social media playbook of influencing that it's hard to take anyone that seriously, And I don't even like blame cast because it's like hard to go on these shows and not be aware of the opportunity that's available to you, and you'd be almost foolish to not want to take advantage of that. Where now you have this new generation of older senior citizens on this show who just like not only don't know about it, just don't care.
Yeah.
And genuinely want to find love. I think people who go on The Bachelor now they don't go on looking for love. They go on for an experience. And I think there's probably a handful of these women and Gary who are actually there thinking, what if I find love? You know? I hope they protect that purity, the show.
Absolutely. I really appreciated Sandra's entrance where she was like, I'm awfully nervous. And she's like, I developed this Zen practice. And then it's just her like saying, fuck, or like whatever it is. And how like,
does he even like swear?
he joined her for, I think, the 3rd one.
I feel like he's really like, I wonder if I don't know. He seems very like,
I feel like crap is his
Chaste.
version of the C word.
Yeah.
He worked in the restaurant business. He can't be that much of a...
oh yeah, what was his job?
He was
Yeah,
a
like
restaurateur.
restaurateur.
Yeah. So he's got a background. He's not that straight and narrow. He's just playing his role and doing a good job at that.
The hospitality is off the charts.
They really screwed over Matt James's mom.
Oh,
Yeah, what? Why even why do that to her?
Literally, their only airtime was her saying for a split second, if you blinked, you would have missed it. My son was the bachelor, so I think it can work out for me. That was it.
Like,
yeah.
The only option is Gary just didn't like her, didn't vibe with her. That happens on the show, like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette.
yeah, but they could have made the first cut.
That's another thing. Or I wonder if it was Matt's mom showed up and was like, this isn't for me. Maybe she clammed up, got super nervous, didn't really want to be there, went home, and maybe she reached out to the show and almost like asked to like, can you just like edit me out? It could have been that too. It doesn't make sense. They could have just as easily, you have a former bachelor's mom there. That's free marketing.
Yeah.
And you could easily bring her to episode 3,
Yeah.
and not ruffle any feathers. But they didn't. And I'm just curious as to why.
It's nice to look forward to watching a Bachelor show again.
It was so enjoyable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
was-
Also, the Chirons, delightful. Ellen, she's the one who's like, Roberta, we made it. Her like little Chiron was pickleball co-captain, not captain, co-captain. Like that's so beautiful. And like Susan is a wedding officiant. Like I love it. I like all the things that these like wonderful women are pursuing later in life. I also think like that's such a cool thing of not only can you find love, but also like there's a rich opportunity to like explore your hobbies and pursue your passions.
Oh, I really love Susan. I was
I
really happy she
know.
got that last rose.
And I felt like of the women, she was the one who I was kind of like, oh, wow, I feel like you give me similar energy to Tony, just like based on looks. And I was like, I wonder if that will be positive or negative.
Interesting point.
You do the same haircut.
Sure do. Should we get to paradise?
Sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like unenjoyable.
It was fine. There were so many people that
You just don't know.
you just don't know. And all of them are saying, you might remember me from.
Yeah, that's like
Titan
I
season.
haven't watched.
No.
I didn't watch Zach's, or I haven't watched the last 2 seasons. I like cut bait.
Yeah.
We
But-
have. We still don't remember them.
So that's what I'm saying. You still don't remember them?
No.
No. Okay.
I
no,
don't know
it's
who-
just
I
a
mean-
real lack of star power. I mean, you
Except
have
Why is that?
You have-
hold on. Kat is one of the most memorable people I think who has ever been on this
Which one's
show.
Kat?
They're very expressive.
Oh,
Nick, do you have any inside info on like casting this year?
what do you mean?
Like, why is it all B team, C team?
I don't know. I mean, they have Rachel here. Let's give Rachel her due. She's a previous bachelorette, so that's big star power. But other than that, I think it's just a lack of character development on the show itself. I think they lack stars, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Or are people like the less enticed to be on Bachelor in Paradise?
I think there's some of that. I guess that you have to ask yourself the question, who is not there that should be there for the most recent seasons?
Gabby.
Gabby's a
Gabby?
bachelorette. Rachel being there is like,
I mean Gabby from Zach's season.
oh, Gabby. Oh my God, I loved Gabby.
Oh,
I thought she was
right. She's
I'm
pretty.
so sorry. Yeah, why isn't she there?
Yeah, and it's like maybe are they saving the big guns for entrances later on?
I don't know. I think she's just not there, right? Or do we not know? I don't know. Yeah, just a lack of star power. It feels like. Yeah, to Natalie's point, it's like you might remember me from like, I don't like Olivia. Love her on the show. Very interesting character. I do not. What season was she on?
She was on Zach's.
Was she? I don't know. She's good TV.
She's amazing.
Love how
TV.
Rachel gets there. She's the first one there. The show's obviously trying to make a moment. It's a big deal. Be the first on the beach. These are all facts of the show. But when Jesse told Rachel that you're the first one here, she was mortified. And it was kind of hilarious because Rachel, I'm assuming, is thinking to herself, what? Like, I don't show up to parties early.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not the first one there.
Yeah.
I come when the party is vibing out. Like,
Yeah,
I come
on the back of my boyfriend's motorcycle.
Yes.
I feel like Rachel always makes such good. She has just like kind of like iconic energy.
So like it was just really almost endearing to see Rachel like panic in that sense because she's like, is that good? Like she didn't realize they thought it was a good thing, and she's just thinking, I'm first at this fucking party. It was kind of.
I'm just like, why is she's not gonna be with these dudes? Like, what?
Well, I also
I know.
thought it was really telling because there was a moment where Kat with a C, Fun Cat, was like, "You were the Bachelorette," and Rachel's response was one of two. And I just felt like that was really, really telling of the way that she felt like her experience on the show was like she never felt like the Bachelorette. She felt like one of two
Like she doesn't
Bachelorettes.
even feel safe enough just to simply say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that made me kind of sad where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I could see how, again.
Like she must say it because she feel like if she doesn't say that, someone's gonna correct her or criticize her for it.
and be like, who do you think you are? Which is
Yeah.
a
They
bummer.
didn't even include her in this. Why is she not on this?
Wait, why isn't she not?
I don't know.
Where is Rachel? Oh, then you have Blake Moynes.
I was gonna say, okay, I do like when someone comes on Paradise who you never like, and then they're the person that all the women freak out over. Where like you're like this guy, like no one would ever.
Yeah.
I'm like shaving his head was such a good move for this.
That's
season.
what I
Amazing.
said.
Yeah.
It's the
Shaving his
hottest she's
head.
ever looked. But
Yeah.
it's like he's been preparing
Nick,
for this
isn't
role.
it?
It is.
It's kind
It
of
totally
giving Travis
is.
Kelsey.
It is the hottest he's ever looked.
He looks great.
It
Yeah.
so is. I feel like Blake was one of those people where when I was watching it with other people and they were like, I don't get it with Blake, I was like defending it. I was like, no, in person, like he has a presence. Like he's a very
He's a-
good looking guy.
Yes, in
Is
person.
that really his job? Because also that's cute.
Hot.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
yeah,
Like
no,
I
that's
didn't like
part
him
of
at all
it.
before. Now I'm like, damn it. Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
No,
Same.
it's like Blake went on The Bachelorette on Claire's season, had not obviously the best time.
Wait. Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
Katie's season.
No.
From Claire,
He started
to
on
Tasha,
Claire.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he made an appearance on Katie's
I'm
season.
gonna trage.
They, that's another thing that this show does. I mean, I know, like it's just like they love to like crucify their cast who is willing to come back on their shows to look for love, and they just make them look pathetic.
But
Even
not
when
Blake.
even with Blake himself made himself look good because Blake has had a glow up. He shaved his head and he's traveling the world and saving animals. But the tone of the show, the way they edit it, the way they kind of mock it, they make fun of their cast.
Yeah.
And that's another big difference between Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise. You're not making fun of their characters, obviously. But like, listen, I love a little snark, but they could do a better job of like making us want to root for these people rather than like mock them for like trying to find love.
I think you have a good point. That's like, it works against itself. Like that's why I'm like, you've made fun of them. I've bought into, and a lot of them I'm not people I root for, and then you're adding on to it. So I'm like, okay.
And now you're telling me to root for them.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, it's pick a lane.
Right. Because it's such a fine line between not taking yourself too seriously and leaning into like a more like breezy version of the show versus like actively making fun of them. I do think Brooklyn was one of the people who I certainly like recognized and was like, oh yeah, you had a very strong character, like point of view when you were on the show.
She's not on this either.
What the fuck, ABC
What
Digital?
is this?
Weird.
Oh wait.
There's a page
Didn't
too.
load.
There's a page. It's a problem with my team, not yours, ABC.
Oh
But
my
why
God.
is Rachel
Will
on page
falling
two?
in the
Page two.
water.
It's alphabetical order. Okay.
Guys, Will falling in the water.
Will
that was so
falling in the
tragic.
water.
Such
I
an
feel
ick.
like he could have made that so much better if he just laughed about it. But instead he's like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. And then she has to like comfort him. If you just
Yeah.
made a joke like, oh my God, you pushed me in the water, like blamed her, like made it something funny, I feel like you could have, I don't know, it would have came off a
didn't
little
let it go.
better.
It's a fine line between playing it off and showing that you're truly embarrassed. And it's
Also,
It's an
I just
art.
felt, I'm like, oh, he's sitting in all those wet clothes.
I
Like,
know.
Like you didn't want to take
his
your shirt
ass
off or
crack was
anything?
all like, what? Sorry, I don't know
He
why I
was
went there.
soaked.
It was just like, it was all wet.
Yeah. I will say, I do think it was kind of advantageous timing for Will because at this point, he's like the first one to have a kiss. He's going on a date with a different girl. And I think it really brought him back down to earth from like potential, like,
Douche boy.
yeah, could have felt like he was kind of like the star, like Bachelor of Paradise. And I do think it was a very humbling moment, clearly for him. And it seems like Kylie was kind of happy to be like, no, like it's so fine. Like it seems like she likes to reassure and kind of take on more of a sweetheart vibe.
yeah, I guess, but like Olivia wasn't wrong. Like
Yeah.
Kylie's trying to like sound like an unproblematic queen. She is not. She loves the drama, and I don't know, the way it's edited, I don't know if it's how it actually plays out, but her interest in Will skyrocketed
When she
after-
found out.
and when she found out that Olivia was making out
Oh, yeah.
with Will. And I loved
Ain't that
Olivia,
the way?
my favorite line of the episode, because I was saying this the whole episode, and Olivia called out Will for it. It's not that he kissed her. It's that he grabbed her fucking face to kiss her. And like, it was a nice move at the time, but it was an aggressive move. It wasn't like some timid guy who was like, I don't know if I should kiss her. And then like, finally your faces are just like, it's like, fine, I guess I'll kiss. No, he was like, when can I kiss you? Or can I kiss you? I don't know what he said. Then she said, the night is young. And she didn't say yes, but he read the signals. He went for it. He made it an assertive move. She really liked it. But like, grabbing your face is a fucking
Yeah, I didn't like
hardcore
how
move.
he acted like he was like just there. Like
it's too early. I'm
Yeah,
just
I'm
playing it out. It's like
you
it's
were
paradise.
asking me to suck your toes. I'm like, okay, she's flirting with you hardcore. Sure, you don't have to grab her face and kiss her.
Yeah.
You did that yourself.
You did that. And
Yeah.
once you grab someone's face and you have a hardcore makeout, you don't get to just say, oh, we just got here. I'm just, playing the field. Like you don't get to do that. Like you state your claim by like doing a very aggressive and thankfully for you seemed to be attractive,
Mutually
mutually beneficial. And she thought it was hot and sexy. But like that meant something. And you just dismissed it as if like, now you just look like a fuckboy because apparently you're just grabbing faces with anyone you want to kiss. And that's an intimate thing to do with someone. And you downplayed it to nothing.
He even like when they had that conversation the next day and he was like, I don't even think I owed you a conversation. And like, he was basically like, how could I have not kissed you? You were like putting your toes in my face. Like, how could I have not kissed you when those sexy little piggies were in my face?
You
God.
hadn't washed your toes
No.
off in the ocean for me to suck them.
I was like, there's still so
They were
much
still
sand
sandy.
on them. By the
They were
way.
She has to
still
walk
sandy.
back.
Yeah. That's not the same as you grabbing her face.
And it just bummed me out to watch him go from him and Olivia like vibing, flirting, having fun to then Kylie like with her heartbreak motion where she was like from across the table, which is like no disrespect, the most high school thing I've ever seen in my life. And on this show,
No disrespect.
respectfully,
You can disrespect.
no, but I don't feel like I know Kylie, but like, you know, she and like Will so clearly like cares about it and is like has instantly lost interest in it. It's like, you know, it's like the dog chasing cars. Like you wouldn't know what to do if you caught one. Like it just seemed like he was so on to the next one. Anyway, I was like, yeah, Olivia is kind of, I so see where she's coming from, feeling kind of like discarded. And some of the most entertaining confessionals I think I've seen as of late on the show, where like Olivia being like, I'll stoop.
Yeah.
I was like, how is that so ominous?
Yeah.
No, I really enjoy Olivia. She's good TV. I hope she sticks around for a while.
Talk about Sean.
Yes, I was thinking that.
Oh,
Using
God.
being a Swiftie as a line is insane.
Him going, how did you enjoy Taylor Swift? And her going,
How did you-
how did you know I was there?
My favorite part is the editors appropriately calling him out for not actually being a Swiftie.
How did they know that?
I don't know.
And then him in the shower and he's like, yeah, I'm such a Ken. And then them being like, he does not resemble Ken. You know who he does resemble?
But I knew the bar.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Isn't
He's
it?
Prince
uncanny?
Charming from Shrek.
Crazy.
That is creepy. Who
Uncanny.
identified that?
Everyone
the
on
internet.
Twitter.
Yeah.
immediately.
spot on.
But
Oh, see,
Rachel,
it comes
said he looked like Ken.
I know.
Guys,
She
is
gave the
Rachel-
Ken and Barbie an allergy.
I thought it was so funny how Sean was like, I want to get covered in glitter. And then later we see a shot of Brayden covered in glitter.
No
it was like-
explanation.
Yeah, no explanation.
Yeah, and then
No
you really
footage.
don't know if he just decided to put glitter out himself or did he make out with someone. Either totally possible.
I also is that very Gen Z to like be down with the dangly earring?
Ugh, I hate
No,
it.
I think it's just Brayden
As
liking
the
attention.
representative, Natalie,
I hate
please.
it.
You
It's
hate it.
awful. It would be cute if it was a little hoop or something, but he just goes to the fucking extremes.
I loved how Kat conducted a vote on it in the girl
Yeah.
talk where she was like, raise your hand if you think the earring's hot. She's the first to raise her hand.
Yeah, and then some of them are like, I'm on the fence.
Yeah, and then I think other fun Kat was like, it's the hat and the earring combo. And I was like, great point, girl.
It is the combo.
No, it's not our type.
Yeah.
But I as a person, I quite like Brayden because he
But his
just
face
doesn't give a
is-
fuck. He's just
His
And
face is cute. Why is he doing all this extra?
He's hot. I think it's like a character that he puts on for the show because he said that he never wore earrings before he went on The Bachelorette.
Oh, that's even worse. It's like a gimmick.
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't mind it.
I
I
think he'd be
feel like
different in real
I
life.
feel like he shows up and he sees a bunch of like people who I guess are fake.
Or who might
But-
have ulterior motives.
No, it's just like
or
it's I've been on these
calculated.
I've been on these sets, beaches, whatever you want to call it, and it's just a lot of like rehearsed lines, and it's just you see a lot of disingenuous people, and there are other people who are just like, oh, just like let's just be present and live it up and have some fun and make some TV. And Brayden, I think, is annoyed by the Aarons of the world who like everything out of his mouth sounds very bachelor rehearsed and things like that. And I think he is almost trolling them in a way.
Wait, Nick, as someone who has been on these beaches, when I'm watching it, and this totally shows like what a germ freak I am, I cannot think anything but how dirty it looks there. The beach itself looks dirty. All the
Yeah.
sand on the like bedding things when they're laying there talking. Do you not just feel like unclean?
It's definitely grimy for sure. It's
Sweaty.
glamping. You know, you're outside, you have a bed, you have shelter. You're not living in a tent, but there's fucking sand and bugs everywhere. There's no AC, there's there's fans. I remember the food to be excellent, which really made all the difference in the world. And yeah, you just kind of get used to feeling always sweaty and a little dirty and like whatever. You just kind of go with it.
And I feel like it's
Oh,
an
no.
essential component of paradise is seeing which people can hang or like respond well to a kind of like grimy environment and which people are clearly like Kat with a K is resisting. Like she is resisting paradise. She wants to be clean. Like
She keeps calling it the jungle.
yeah.
You are on the
Wait,
beach,
is that
queen.
Cat. Wait, how many cats do we have? We have
Two.
So
cat.
we have Kat who's like
Oh,
the
Kat
most
with a K,
expressive woman
Izzo.
in the
Okay.
world. And then we have Kat with a K who's her and Brayden, low-key, amazing couple, really balance each other out thus far.
Yeah, so far. I don't think it's going to last, though. I think
Yeah.
she's too high maintenance for him.
Allie, though. I
Oh,
want
our
Allie
Allie?
and Brayden to.
Allie said, oh, fuck no.
And I know you think that. I could see it.
What?
I think Braden's different in real
Interesting.
life. I think
Has
he's
he
the
been
man
here?
that you need.
Have you ever met him?
No, we have yet to meet him.
Never met him. Interesting.
I've heard good things though. I'm really gonna hate it if Sean's a main character of this season.
I know.
Guys, is Bachelor in Paradise done? I think it's like, I don't know if it's, even Wells, when I was watching Wells, I was like, honey, like, no, like, he doesn't need to do this anymore. Like, I don't
I feel like all Golden Bachelor is the only thing keeping Bachelor Nation afloat right now.
I know.
I mean, it was excellent. Golden Bachelor.
Golden
Yeah.
Bachelor was superb.
It was like such a high, and I was like,
I mean, we'll see. Listen, we got through Paradise, and I was entered. Like, you know, I'm curious to see what happens with Kylie and what's his name?
Well,
Will.
so invested.
No, and like the guy who shows up.
Oh,
Aven.
Aven.
You know, we assume that Kylie is going to try to swerve and
And
get called out for it.
And from the promos, it seems as though Olivia and
Yeah.
Aven start to.
Olivia's
Connect
like, you
with one
stole my
another.
man, so I'm going to steal yours.
Yeah,
I
you
love
just
that.
see her being
So,
like,
I'm into that. I want to watch that.
Totally.
You know, we'll see, but I don't know. Yeah, do I think the heyday of Bachelor in Paradise, you know, they had some good.
That was your day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
season 3.
Jesse did tell us that a couple gets married on the beach, though.
Even worse. That's
That's
so,
crazy.
Like, ay.
But who could it be?
I don't
It's
know.
not this season. I doubt.
Disgusting.
Kenny and Mari.
Yeah, Kenny and Mari maybe. What previously engaged couples are going to come down for 10 minutes of airtime in a wedding?
I'm so glad that you guys are not doing anything with the franchise for your wedding. You're not, right?
No.
Okay.
It's you guys who gets married on the beach.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
We're like, when do it could be?
You guys are like, yeah, that is embarrassing. Who would do that?
But who could Rachel date? No one there, right?
No,
Not-
God, no.
No one
She
there
seems more
yet.
mature than them.
I mean, honestly,
guys.
I don't think it happens because she talks about how good of a friend she is with Blake Moynes when she
What?
was here last week. But like,
What about
Rachel and
pilot
Blake?
Pete? Peter.
Oh,
Peter. He's cute and he's a pilot and she's a she's an
Peter
instructor.
Capio?
He
And
was.
I
I feel like he connected with someone else.
I think Jordan, the guy who she sent home on a one-on-one really early on in her season, maybe the first ever one-on-one, I feel like there's a promo of him coming back and them being like, wow, it's like we have a second chance at this connection. So I feel like that's also potentially in the pipeline.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more people show up. I mean, I wonder if they're gonna do anything with Aven and Rachel.
I know.
I know.
Like, are they gonna make that a thing or?
Especially with Kylie being like, I could accept a proposal from him by the end of this summer because he's been fire reacting
That
to
was
my
nuts,
Instagram
though.
stories.
Yeah, I will say, one part I did like is that in the beginning of the show, and Kylie talking about like we've been DMing. I'm glad they finally just embraced that. I'm glad they
Yes.
finally embraced that these people are meeting each other up and they're DMing and they are getting ahead of it and be like, hey, I'd like to meet you in paradise. And just know that they're going to paradise rather than crucify these casts and use it as storylines to like discredit their character, as if like these people are not allowed to talk and communicate and meet each other at events. It's just been so played out. Like, let's bring in the real world that is going on and the storylines that organically involve and bring it into the show rather than scare these people into think they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's that, and I hope they continue that and not try to use it as a weapon against these people.
Is anyone going to watch Catching Kelsey? Going back and watching Catching Kelsey? Or no? Do we feel he was so different back then?
Interesting.
He did look really different.
He had like hair.
Yeah.
I mean, he
And
had
his
straight head
style
hair,
was like,
but he had
kinda
like,
scary.
I know, totally. Like, I don't want it to taint my vision of him, which
yeah.
is very
hi.
Yeah.
I mean, I was joking about this last week that like him and I are in the same club, which is like bad reality television looking for love.
okay.
Like
Well,
him and I are peers, basically.
okay.
So,
Last night I was
Nick
like,
is Travis Kelsey.
yeah. So like you can't really tell us apart. He looks good there.
He looks so fucking hot here.
he's so hot. Last night I was like, I randomly said, I was like, to my boyfriend, I was like, oh, I feel sad. And he was like, why? He's like going through the reasons. He was like, you don't feel well. He's like, getting your period. Like I was like, 'cause I don't know why. And he's like, because you realize like Travis Kelsey's never gonna happen. I was like, yeah,
But why did he do Catching Kelsey? Just goes to show you that doesn't matter where you start.
because he wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because he's down to clown.
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
God, wait,
Why don't
this
you
is
watch
the
and report
article.
back? Who is Travis Kelsey? Why?
What Taylor Swift fans need to know.
A Swifty's guide to Travis Kelsey.
That's so nice.
That's so
That
Have
they
you
made
always
this.
been on the Chiefs?
I think so.
I've
Yeah.
never been more engaged in football, you guys. Like I was like, do they play every week? And then I heard about the bye week thing. And then like I was like, how many fans are in this? I was like, are all football stadiums the same size? Like how many people are at MetLife right now?
Oh
Like,
yeah, and then I had Allie and Genevieve like texting in the group chat. Allie couldn't understand why Patrick Mahomes slid it to a yard line and not just try to score because all it was to them is a wasted opportunity to have Travis score a touchdown. And what in reality, from a football standpoint, it was like Patrick Mahomes doing the smart thing to win the game. But like, what?
They just didn't understand.
You were just like, why is he, 2-yard line? We're so close. Like,
I didn't say why didn't he do a touchdown. He can't get injured. I know football.
oh my God. I'm so sorry, Allie.
Natalie, do you like football? I feel
I
like on your stories you guys watch a lot, so I don't know
yeah,
if it's
I am a big SEC fan. I'm an Auburn fan because that's where I'm from. We're terrible, so I
Right
haven't.
now.
I haven't.
Just right now.
Yeah, actually, it was a great game against Georgia. But dating Nick, obviously, there is no out with NFL Packer season, so I've come to really enjoy it.
She's a pretty knowledgeable sports fan. Like every once in a while, we were talking about this last night. She asked me like if I like it or dislike it. She knows all about the sport. But she's not like every once in a while she'll be like, well, what is that? And I'll explain it to her.
Men love to explain things they're passionate about.
Sure.
true.
But I don't have to, sometimes if you have to explain football to someone who doesn't know anything about football, oh my God, it takes some time. Like it's
you
more
start
complicated
earlier.
than you
People
realize.
do a really bad job of trying to explain football when it's like you really just explain the downs and it all makes sense.
But when
from
you're
there.
starting
No,
at
it
zero, you
doesn't.
don't know where to start. I've tried. But with Natalie, she knows like 90% about football. And the other 10%, it takes me like 2 seconds to be like, yeah, but
that
this,
was a
this, and that.
safety. That's why it
And
was
she's
2
like,
points.
oh, okay, yeah. And it makes total sense to her.
We also at night read to the baby, and
Aw.
Nick has now started to want to read her Packer articles.
'Cause it doesn't matter what you read. It's just how you read it.
Did you guys watch Quarterback on Netflix when Kirk Cousins, another person that I'm now into, he read like Sports Illustrated like for kids to his son or something? I was like, you guys could read that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what I've learned this from the movie 3 Men and a Baby. It doesn't matter what you read. It just matters how you read it.
But also Nick's dyslexic, so it takes him a while to get through the books.
so
and
bad.
I'm like, she's probably so confused
Like
in there.
we read a baby book last night. It was not
Sarky.
pretty.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
But when she learns how to read, she'll like persevere.
it's true.
Hopefully.
You know, she'll
Yeah.
be like, "This
So you were
isn't
gonna say she'll
necess-
teach you.
Yeah, also possible.
You both read up your skills. It'll be great."
What if she's born and she's like, when are we meeting Travis Kelce?
Yeah. Heard so much about Travis and Tay.
Well, I hope they are dating come then. Yeah. What is your no bullshit? How real do you think Taylor and Travis is?
I feel like because he actually did mention her so many times in the past few months and like actually has been a fan, I think he really does like her a lot. Like I think he actually had a real crush on her. But I just don't I think it's like a fun hookup. I don't see it being like person she marries.
Who do you think is the person she could
You
marry?
see it as real? I don't know.
But how could you not, being Taylor, how could you not find him so delicious?
You could, but
And like
she does
want-
seem to really be fun. Like when
She's having
those clips where she
fun.
was like, "Look at him," I was like, "Okay, girl, yes."
Yeah.
Like I'll
She
like.
is
And
having
again,
fun.
everything you learned about her ex Joe is that like
Ugh.
he was just always there. He was just like always following her, you know?
Her
And
Nepo
we-
boyfriend.
We didn't hear
called him.
about their relationship. It was this private little thing, and and Travis is like this proud boyfriend that, like, listen, his life has turned upside down. It's been nothing but great things for him. So like he's certainly benefited from the connection. But he was fine. You know what I'm saying? He was fine before. I don't feel like he's dating Taylor and using
No,
her.
no, no.
And like,
You
what
know?
does she have to gain? I don't even think she needs like concert or like the movie
No, she has
ticket
nothing.
sales. She's like sold out.
Yeah,
the
she's already
first
sold
She
out.
weekend.
looks like she looks. Then you think back, you're like, oh, she hasn't dated anyone hot. I'm like, no, she dated Harry Styles, but kind of before he was like she dated, like, she hooked up with John Mayer. Like, she's hooked up with hot dudes. Like,
Yeah, but there's a difference between like hot artists and musicians and hot athletes.
yeah.
And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying they are very different. And I could see, dating an entertainer and an artist could be just as high maintenance and have diva qualities. And listen, NFL receivers have diva qualities, but I could just wonder if it's just so much more fun for her because it's like a totally different world. And again, he's comfortable in his own skin. He's a star on his own, maybe in like the NFL might be a bubble, but it's a big fucking bubble in the United States. It's not worldwide, like Taylor is, but he's doing just fine. And I just wonder if he might be able to introduce Taylor to a world that she like didn't realize how much fun she could have in a relationship.
Like she's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers.
Yeah.
No, it's
Literally.
literally you belong with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so fun.
And they can both like reverse roles of like who is in the spotlight. Like he's playing and he's in the
tight
spotlight.
end theory.
Yeah. And then when she's literally in the spotlight, he has no problem like being a confident king and supporting his girl and taking a back seat. It just makes too much sense.
I need to watch Catching Kelsey so I can understand his intelligence more. I need to know his like on SNL he gave me more than I was expecting. So I'm like, I don't want to lump him into like
Listen
he's just
to the
an
podcast.
athlete. Oh, is he?
I
Yeah,
think he's smart enough.
smart enough.
I don't know anything about him. So he could be I think his brother comes across as extremely intelligent.
Has anyone watched that documentary on Amazon? Jason.
And
Kelsey?
Clips of it.
And for those of you who don't know, from a sports standpoint, when it comes to like knowledge, I'm having so much fun with it. The quarterback, clearly, he needs to be pretty intelligent. They have a lot of responsibilities. And it's often considered that the center and the tight end are two of the other most important positions in an offense. The center is in charge of telling all his offensive linemen what to do, when to do it. He's kind of the manager of the offensive linemen. The tight end has so many responsibilities because they have to pass and block and catch. And so you have to have a level of intelligence to play both those positions. They're related brothers. So he's no dummy. Like, I don't know if he's like a fucking genius, but like, he's not an idiot for sure.
Period.
Slay.
Is that it?
Period. Slay.
Period. Slay. All right. Well, Amy, as always, it's a ton of fun talking
Lots
with you
of
about
gossip,
pop
guys.
culture and
It's
reality TV. You'll have to come back again soon.
Yes, of course.
We're back on Thursday. Huge episode with Izzy from Love is Blind. So many questions to ask about Izzy. I'm sure we'll ask him questions about his relationship with Stacy. Why are him and Stacy such mean girls to Johnny?
Oh my God, please put paper plates out with snacks
Oh, okay. We should do that. We should troll him. Yeah.
and red Solo cups.
Does he stand by his treatment of Johnny, or is there more to the story? We don't know. Obviously, we'll have questions about that and the rest of his cast. So be sure to tune in to that on Thursday. Don't forget to send in those questions at AskNick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours, mediations, you know the drill. And then we had a update classic last Friday that we dropped. So if you are loving all these reality TV shows, but you also love hearing people's relationship stories and getting some advice thrown in there along the way, our Ask Nick episodes every Monday. And we drop those updates for you on Viall Files Classic once a month. And if you love those updates, don't forget we have so many more behind Viall Files Plus. Just go to viallfiles.com to sign up. It's a 7-day free trial. You're missing out if you haven't tried it yet. I think that's it. Amy, where can people find you?
They can find me at Amy K in LA on all platforms and read my column in the LA Times for real every month.
It's a great column. She
such a
does some
good column.
great, interesting pieces on some of your favorite public figures. She just hasn't done one. I'm just kidding.
We're friends, Nick. That's
I know.
unethical.
I know. Be sure to check out all of Amy's great stuff. We will be back on Thursday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.